So I'm making this video to address the majority, the white America, because we make up the majority and it's our responsibility to make the change that we need in our country. You know, things aren't going to change if we don't change, if we are not proactive in making that change happen. So here we go. And before I get started, this isn't some holier than thou speech. This is me hoping that with the platform I've been blessed with, I can say something that maybe changes someone's mind or makes them more proactive in helping the situation that exists in our country. And the first thing that we as white people need to admit or do is admit that there is a problem in our country, that Black lives are not being valued the way that they should be. They're not being valued as equal to ours, that Black lives matter, that we need to be the ones to make a change in our country. It's all of our country, but as the majority, the burden falls mostly on us to make the change. So we need to admit that there's a problem in our country, and we need to start asking ourselves, well, what can we proactively do to make that change happen, right? I think one of the first things that we can do is accept that we have white privilege. I think it's something that white people get defensive about. No one wants to feel like they didn't earn something, but admitting that you have white privilege doesn't mean that you don't have challenges in your life. It just means that your skin color is not a factor in determining what those challenges are. So that's one thing that we can do. The second is that we have to admit that Black lives matter. I mean, it's a simple thing. And for those who want to counter to say, well, all lives matter. Yes, of course, all lives matter. But Black lives are the lives that are most at risk right now in our country. And they have been for a very long time. A very long time. So the focus, the priority should be on recognizing that, because Black lives are not being treated like they matter right now. And that's why you have the unrest that you have. I mean, I hope some of this is getting through. It seems so elementary, but there it is. So what can we do more concretely to help? I mean, one thing that we can do is checking other white people when they say something that shows some prejudice, and checking ourselves. I think one example of that is I saw a lot of people getting upset about the property damage that was happening during the protests. While property damage isn't something that we want in society, we should be far more upset about the loss of innocent life, about a man being killed by strangulation. Brutal things like that should be far more upsetting to us. The loss of innocent life should be far more upsetting to us than property damage. So if you are more upset about that, I think that should be a signal to yourself to say, hey, why am I being upset more about property damage than about the loss of innocent lives? Okay. So that's kind of, I think, the starting ground there. But also checking other people, they might be family, friends, coworkers, whatever it might be. When they say something prejudiced or they do something prejudiced, we need to be the ones to check them. We can't just let it ride. We all have a tendency to be defensive when someone checks us. So, keep that in mind and think about how you're going to approach them with that. It's not always easy. There might be people watching me now who are feeling defensive and feeling like, I'm full of shit, or, that they don't have to do anything or whatever it might be. But you know, this is just me coming from a place of wanting to see positive change and wanting to, you know, come to grips with the reality that's going on, to help people come to grips with the reality that's going on. Okay. So what else can we do? Well, I mean, we can think about the way that we raise our children. You know, there is systemic, institutionalized racism that is perpetuated in our country. So as parents, I'm not a parent yet, but parents have a bigger responsibility to their children to, you know, have those conversations with them about white privilege, about how Black lives are treated in this country, and, you know, try to steer them away from prejudice as much as we can. You know, it's as parents, if we can do that, you know, that's a huge step, I think, in the right direction. Now, there are other things that we can do that are pragmatic as well. We can participate in peaceful protest, right? You know, it's a sign of solidarity for Black lives. It's a message to society at large that a change needs to occur in our country. You know, our country was founded on protests. I can't think of many things more American than protests, fighting for rights, fighting for what you believe in a peaceful way. Sometimes, you know, that requires a bigger splash than other times. But, you know, Black voices need to be heard. You know, we need to be good allies to Black lives. It's something that seemingly is very simple, but, you know, we need to see much, much more of it. We can sign petitions or create petitions that have a very direct strategy, whether that be direct policies that ensure greater protection for Black lives, you know, whether that's having to do with the criminal justice system, whether that's, you know, focusing on a specific case that's happened. You know, there's campaigns currently going on for Ahmaud, Breonna, George, but the list of names is very, very long. But participating in petitions, that can be another thing that we can do. Sorry, I'm taking a moment to collect my thoughts. Getting kind of worked up. You know, we can contact local officials, the mayors, other local politicians, and, you know, importantly, we can vote. And voting in not just national elections, but local and statewide elections. And, you know, to paraphrase Obama, those local and statewide elections can be the ones that determine very much about the criminal justice system locally and how policing is done, you know, electing of police officials. So, you know, we need to exercise our right, our privilege to vote. We need to do it, you know. We have to do it. We have to elect people who care about Black lives, who want to make a change for the better for Black lives. We have to do it. You know, we can participate by either donating to campaigns or reaching out to, as I said earlier, political officials, with our concerns, and with enough voices, change can happen. It may not be, it's not an overnight thing, but change can happen. One campaign that I've seen recently that makes a lot of sense is the hashtag 8Can'tWait campaign. This campaign focuses on trying to enact use of force policies for police systems such that effectively the idea is to reduce the escalation of situations, or require police officers to de-escalate situations so that violence doesn't have to happen. And violence should be a last resort. Whatever the situation is, violence should be a last resort, right? So policies that require police officers de-escalate situations, trying to have a conversation, trying to de-escalate things is the best option, So participating in campaigns like that, whether it's through donation, whether that's to reaching out to local political figures and voicing your concerns and wanting to express how you think these policies should be enacted, that's another way that you can help as well. Again, I don't pretend to have all the answers to what we can do. I know that these few things can be helpful, and hopefully something I said will stick. And we need to take care of Black lives. It's really simple. We are the majority in this country, and change is not going to happen without us actively participating in that. So, hope everyone's staying safe, and I wish everyone the best.